baby. We're back. We're back.
How about it?
Season 3. I was Jay, how was the summer in Dominican Republic?
Dude, it's bloody well hot. I have to say, it's been about 38 on average for the last little bit. I'm a little cookied from yesterday. I was down in Macau at the beach yesterday and got a little red, as you can see.
Yeah.
Had a couple of wobblies last night down at Two Dudes, and
Sweet.
you can tell by my eyes, I look like I'm barely awake. I was up till about 3 o'clock in the morning last night, and
Oh
and that's
my.
good too compared to last year.
Well, you can see it. I got a little bit younger. I got rid of the grays, so that's a little bit of a change for me too. But a heck of a summer in
But do
New Brunswick.
the curtains match the drapes?
They don't now. They don't now. But no, good things happened. We went back to Ontario, went to Niagara Falls, went back to London, Ontario, visited some family. It was a great trip, but I got COVID, got pretty sick, man. But feeling better now and ready to rock and ready to do some different things this year on the show, where we're gonna set the bar a little bit higher, and we'll let you know about some stuff that's going to be happening on Keep Your Head Up Hockey. But we're going to do weekly shows Saturdays moving forward, and it's going to be great. And this is the first one, so we're just getting rolling. But big things for the Leafs too. Like we've got Mitch Marner gone, and good riddance, man. Like the guy never really showed up in the playoffs. He wanted out. He really truly did, and he's gone now. And I think it's a good thing. What do you think about Mitch Marner kind of moving on to Vegas?
Well, I think what we lost was obviously one of the most elite players in the league. There's no question. He makes everybody around him better. There's no question. However, come playoff time, where it counts, he's had good games, but he's never had a streak of good games. He's never had. He's not physical enough. He's not built for the playoffs. Now he'll get you there, and that's important. But it's not his fault. I have to say it was the management fault for not surrounding him with a Brian Burke kind of team that has truculence. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably been one of the biggest problems with the team. And what we've traded here is 100 points for an extra 250 to 300 pounds, in weight. Like Reeves is gone too. But we brought in some players that are a lot more truculent, a lot heavier, and basically built for the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. We brought some good guys in, and we'll talk about that here coming up. Some elite additions. First up, I'm talking about Matatis Maselli from Utah Mammoth. We got him basically when the offseason started, picked him up from Utah, and he's a pass first winner. Not a super tough guy, but he's good in tight spaces, right? And I think that he brings a lot of what we were lacking in the playoffs. He's not a super fast guy either, but not a physical player. But he's that type of guy that can play on any line and bring a little bit extra to the Leafs when it matters.
I believe he's actually very similar to Marner, and what I do, yes, he's not as flashy, but he is pretty close. He's not as skilled, but he's close. He doesn't have the scoring prowess that Marner does, but he's close. And the thing is, he's not played on a team that's given him the opportunities that he's going to get with playing like guys with Matthews, Willie, whoever, Tavares. I mean, he's not really had those kind of guys that can bolt him up to the next level, which the next level player is kind of like, I think from where he is now to close to, I would say a 3 year ago Panarin, I think he's got that. Like Panarin in the last 2 years has just been phenomenal. So I think
truly has.
I think that he's that kind of player. I think he's actually with the coaching that he's got now, I think he's going to be a little bit more of that truculent type player. I think he'll have some physicality. And I believe part of the conversation that's gone on with him and the coach was that they're going to bring that forward. He's going to have to be a little bit more physical because they don't want to just trade for a guy or or pick up a guy that was going to be the same player that Marner was. So I believe there was an interview with Marcelli that he was basically saying he's going to have to pick up the physicality part of his game. For him to just say that, I think is probably that's a great thing moving forward. He knows what's expected of him, and I definitely think that with his ability, I think he's going to be very similar to Nylander. He's not going to have as much scoring prowess, and he's obviously not as fast. However, he's got that Gretzky-like skating, where it's not fast, but it's very effective. He's very shifty, edges well, that kind of thing.
Well, he's kind of like a European style forward, right? Like Mikael Granlund. And he had it, like, he was one of the top rookies in his rookie year. Like, this guy can play. So I really think that he's a good addition and somebody that's going to kind of take away the loss of Marner, but only time will tell with him. Let's move on and talk about Henry Thurn from San Jose. And we got him. We traded Reeves for him. So Reeves going to San Jose, and best of luck for Reeves. Like, I really like Reeves, but Reeves is not a skater. He's not he's not the guy that we're really looking for, the full package when it comes to a tough guy. One of the best fighters in the league by far, if not the best fighter that we've lost. But we've gained, Henry Thurn, a defenseman that really is a big boy. He's 6'2", 190, and he's a two-way defenseman that really can move the puck well. He's a guy that'll go in the corners and not be afraid to take a hit, and we're going to need that for sure. And he's just another guy to bring to our 6-7 D-men that we've got, and I think he's going to make an impact. What do you think about Michael Thurn? Henry Thurn.
I think that he's got a physical presence to him that we were lacking, and I don't mean like necessarily toughness. I just mean being able to shut down players in the zone, like in his own zone. I find that he's able to close the gap really quickly. He's got that long reach. He's fairly physical. He's not like crazy physical, but he's physical. He's not flash in the pan kind of guy. He just uses the body very well. He shields the puck very well when he's like, once he takes it from you, he's able to shield very well. He uses his body very well for positioning to make sure that he gains control of the puck and gets that good first pass. So I think he's probably going to be a fairly good addition. And again, I know that like the time is short and the window's closing for the Leafs. This is a guy that's like the window to win is closing, but I think once they do win, it could be multiple wins. It could be very much like Florida if they do win. And I think they're moving in the right direction. And this guy here is a guy that I think he's actually, even though he's not 20, I think he's going to grow. I think he's going to, he's going to grow to be a better player. And with the defensive core, especially with Tanev, I think that you're going to see some learning going on. And it's not, Tanev is addictive. He's like crack. When you see everybody, he stops 3 or 4 shots in a series, and he's done, or in a series, a series of play, in one play, and you see him doing that, it's addictive. You start feeling, oh shit, I got to step up my game. And I think that this is the kind of guy that's going to learn from a guy like Tanev. And if you've watched any of his games, he's had some fairly solid guys playing with him, and he seems to play the way that the other guys play. If they're playing shitty, he plays shitty. If they're playing good, they play good. He plays good. And I think that this core is, I think, the top core in the NHL right now, or at least in the top 2 or 3. Colorado obviously being up there, but I still think that this guy's going to be a grower. He's not going to be just a shower. I think he's going to actually come a long way in 1 year. You'll see. I think.
Well, Jay, one more little note on him. Like, he's from Harvard University. That's where he played his junior career, and he was a standout when he played for Harvard. And I just think that this guy needs some great coaching and some great players and leadership behind him to really grow as a player. And I really think that he is a great long-term guy for the Leafs to have. You
Yeah.
know, he really hasn't obviously blown out in the playoffs yet, or sorry, in the league yet since being acquired by Utah there, but or sorry, San Jose. But I tell you, man, he is something to watch and to keep an eye out because I think he's going to grow really well in a Leafs jersey. And I'm really excited that we're bringing on some young talent that can grow and mature with that Leaf jersey on. And we need those young guys, right? We really do with the legs. And I really think that he is mature beyond his years. I really think that he does have that full package, and that's why we've acquired him. So I think he's a great addition. And he wants to. Any thoughts on him?
What's that?
Any last minute thoughts on him before we move on?
No, it's no, not really. No, he's still a bit of an anomaly for me. I've watched a couple of his games, like since the trade. I watched a couple of things on YouTube about him. I did see a couple of games last year, and I think that he's going to be a mainstay, and he's just steady. That's all.
All right. A big pickup, I thought, from the Mitch Marner trade. And everybody just thought that we got nothing for Mitch Marner. We got Nicholas Roy, you know, and he's from the Knights and another young guy. He is, he plays center, right? A big boy, 207 pounds. Like, this guy is large, and he's a power forward. And I think that we need more guys like that going to the corners, banging and crashing, getting in front of the net. And this is the full package when it comes to that. You know, we used the scouts used to call him a Swiss Army knife because he's got all of those tools. You know, in that helmet, in all those shoulder pads, and in that stick. You know, he's got everything that any power forward would want. You know, he's a great skater, but he's, like I said, he's a dump and chase, crash and bang, front of the net type of guy that would drop the gloves at any point. But also, he's a young kid with untapped potential, I think, and another great young guy that the Leafs are bringing. So when everybody says, "Oh yeah, we got nothing for Marner," well, really, truly, for his that's an argument though, because Roy is somebody that we needed, and at least we got him rather than nothing for Marner.
Well, what we got was somebody who's going to show up in the playoffs. This guy's not exactly built for the regular season, like he is. Not to take away from the regular season, but his game elevates incredibly when it comes time to the playoffs. And you can ask anybody that's a Vegas fan, I'll tell you that they were really sorry to see this guy go because it's going to make it doesn't matter. They don't, you know what? There's a lot of talk. If you watch a lot of the Vegas feeds, there's a lot of talk saying that they're not impressed that they got Marner and lost him. You know, a lot of the fans. Now, a lot of the fans are saying, oh, yeah, it's going to be a great season. But what they say afterwards is, what about the playoffs? Marner's going to get you there. There's no question. And will they finish first? Well, finishing first is not necessarily the best thing. You know, I mean, it depends. It depends on who's finishing third and fourth, you know, or getting there at the end of the season. It really makes a difference, you know, because it's usually the team that's the most skilled is usually not the most physical. And if you're seeing what's happened with the Leafs in the last 20 years, they've been the most skilled team going into the first round, but they end up getting their asses kicked because they're not the most physical. This guy brings a physicality, a hockey IQ, his intensity, and his ability to read the play before it happens is fantastic. If you look at the way he takes the puck away from other teams, it's very high. Like he's up around it's very similar to Matthews in puck takeaways. So it's you, and what we lost is a guy in Marner who gives the puck away consistently. He makes bad passes all the time, you know, because he's trying. And now, like, that's
too much.
I mean, he's in the playoffs. The normal shit that happens during the regular season doesn't fly in the playoffs. People tighten up, you know, and they skate faster, they try harder. So those little trick plays and passes that Marner, the behind the back shit that he does all the time that gets him, you know, 100 points during the regular season, that shit doesn't fly in the playoffs. And this guy here is a guy that's not going to give away the puck. He's going to get you the puck more often, and he's going to make solid passes, and he's got the ability to score. It's just he just doesn't like it. He's more of a playmaking kind of guy, or like at least get the puck, take possession, get a face off in the other end, in the offensive zone, and he's great at ragging the puck on the power play on the penalty kill. So like this is a guy that's going to absorb a lot of minutes. I think he's going to be a 20-minute guy, maybe even 25 minutes. I think he's going to be on the ice a lot more than everybody's anticipating.
I agree too. And just a little bit of background before we move on with him. This guy won the best defensive forward, the Guy Carbonneau Trophy in the Q back in 2016-17. He was a two-time All-Star player for the Q as well in 2016-2017. So he comes from a great background as a kid, and he's going to be making an impact on this team. I know it for sure. Untapped potential for Roy, and a great addition for the Leafs. We'll talk about one more guy, and then we'll move on. Dakota Joshua. Yeah, sure.
He's what I think people really need to watch is the comparisons to Bergeron. I think you're going to see this year, especially with a team like Bergeron. I mean, always had all these numbers, and yes, he was a big part of the reason why he had those numbers. But he always had a really good surrounding cast. This guy, I think, is going to have a better surrounding cast that he had in Vegas, even though Vegas was a great team. There's no question.
Yeah.
But it's a different kind of team now. Vegas was, they were a big, heavy team, but they were a lunch bucket team, though. Everybody was hardworking guy. When Mark Stone's your best player, or pretty much your best player, I think that it's a work hard mentality. So he's going to have that mentality, but now he's going to have a shitload of skill around him that he's never had before. And I think you're going to see he might end up being in the top 3 or top 4 defensive forwards in the league by the end of the year, I think.
Well, let's bring it on. Nicholas Roy, big addition. There's actually 2 more additions that we'll talk about, and we'll talk about kind of what we're bringing to the show that's going to be a little bit different. But Dakota Joshua pick up from Vancouver, and I think that he's going to be a decent left winger center. Another big guy, 210 pounds. Like, do you see kind of like a little trend here for the Leafs? Adding some weight. And that's what we were missing before. We're going to be a tough team to play against. And all these kids are young. Like, he's 6'3", 210 pounds, a left wing shot and a left-hander. And he is a physical first type of guy, bang and crash, loves to throw the weight around. And another guy that just hasn't shown his full potential in the league yet. I really think that he's going to be a great hard-nosed player that we're going to be adding. I love that he gets into the dirty spots when he plays, and that's what the Leafs are lacking. We need tough guys, and we need a lot of weight, and Joshua is definitely one of those guys bringing that to the Leafs.
Well, absolutely. I think that he's been on a team that's been very European-like for the last little while in Vancouver, and it doesn't help his game. He's dependent on way too much. And I think that's as far as the physicality is concerned, sticking up for guys, and maybe taking some penalties that he wouldn't normally take because he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, sticking up for his teammates that are getting pushed around. Because let's face it, Vancouver wasn't exactly the prime physical team in the NHL for the last couple of years. Good team a few years ago, not so great last year. I found that they were nowhere near as good as they could have been. But there seemed to be a lot of turbulence in that team in the last couple of years. Lots of stuff going on in the background, and I believe that this was hurting Joshua. I mean, I think he was part of some of the problems as well. So there might be a little baggage that comes with him. But that said, I think when you've got the Chief as your coach, I don't see him mouthing off or getting causing problems within the change room. I believe this is going to be a great new start for him, and I honestly think that he might be another Tanev in the making. And again, you've got the defensive core. I think they're going to be the most physical defensive core in the NHL by far. Are they going to be the best? Top 2 or 3, I think. Like maybe third as far as the points per game and the offense in general. But I certainly believe that they will be the most physical by far in the NHL. And this guy is going to bring that. I think he's going to be the leader in that. And what people actually don't talk about with him. His first pass is amazing. He is one of the best first passers for young defensemen, especially a guy that plays like he does. It's a first pass is one of the most underrated skills for defensemen in the NHL. You don't hear about it as much, like you hear about truculence, like physicality, skating, closing down the lanes, and getting your stick in the way. But you don't hear about that first pass like you used to.
It's important.
And and a guy goes really underrated. And I going back to the guy I know a little bit. I don't know him really well, but Billy Holder. Stuck around the league. He's a North Bay boy. He's coaching in North Bay, and that guy, I'm not joking. Smooth skater, not the best skater, but smooth. But that first pass, man, that's the one thing I always like, and that's why he stuck around the NHL so well. He would put puck to tape to puck, however way you want to put it, like just beautifully, and that. And I think this guy is obviously. I think he's one of those guys as well. And you don't see a lot of blunders with him either. He's pretty consistent. No. The only thing that you got to watch is head hunting. When he gets physical, gets pissed off, a little burr under his saddle. He does take some shitty penalties. But I think with the team that he's got, he's not going to have to be the guy all the time. No. So I think his wildness will get reined in a little bit. It'll be more focused on the game itself and his skills and his ability to be able to help the team, not just physically, but in a offensive capacity.
Well, let's move on to my favorite addition for the Leafs this year, and a big thank you from Montreal. Thank you so much for this player, Michael Pezzetta. Man, this guy is an absolute beauty. Have you seen the marks on this kid, number one? And number two, he's a Toronto-born guy. He's from Toronto. This guy is an absolute fan favorite in Montreal, and for a good reason. The kid wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a personality type guy that'll be great in the dressing room. But boy, can he play? And he's a very young addition for the Leafs. Like, he's a young guy that can really just bring it. And I love it. I absolutely love him. We got him for $850,000. Like, he's just an absolute steal. And he is a high energy presence. Like, this guy brings it. Left winger that really can put in the net, but really just a banging crasher. Drop the gloves with anybody. Just a dream to add to the Leafs, and I'm just so happy that we've got him. He was one of my favorites from Montreal, and now he's on our team. I just absolutely love it. I love it. What are your thoughts?
This is, I think, the steal of the year for the Leafs.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. I think this kid is he's got. There isn't really much of a weakness to his game. The only thing that I would say that he could improve on, and he will have to improve on, is his skating. I'm talking about the speed. Montreal is a quick team. There's no question. But again, he was dependent upon with his physicality. Well, no matter who he plays with on the team, except for Riley, which he could possibly end up with, so he may end up having to be a little bit more physical or physical like he is. But the thing is, there's that if he's with Riley, he's going to end up having a skilled player. Riley's not like he used to be. However, he stepped it up in the playoffs the last couple of years, both years. He's elevated his game. I kind of hope that he has a comeback year, or we need to get something for him before it's too late. I actually, so my brother was talking with Tiger Williams.
And okay. Really? Wow.
Yeah. And so I know Tiger. Actually, I took him shopping in Dubai. Took him gold shopping for his wife, to buy his wife a $10,000 ring and whatever.
Him and must be nice.
Probert and those boys. Anyway, he was saying that something is coming. And he knows, and I think just he was directing it towards the defense, and he said he knows something is coming very soon. So I'm kind of thinking it might end up being Riley might be gone, but that's just my opinion. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Here. But anyway, either or, if Pezzetta ends up playing with Riley, I believe that you're going to see Riley's game go up because he's got somebody to depend on that is, he's got an all-round game, and he does have some speed, but it's not like he's crazy fast. He's super smooth, and he's very good edge work. He shuts down players physically. And again, another guy that guards the puck very well with his body once he takes it and retrieves it. He doesn't give it up very often. I think this kid is going to be another, like what we lost in the 100 points as far as gaining 4, as far as Marner's concerned, we're going to get 100 less points scored on us this year because of the team that we have. And this guy, Pizzata, is going to end up being a big reason that there's less goals scored against. He blocks shots, he retrieves pucks from other players, and he retrieves pucks and keeps the puck and gets that first pass out as well very quickly. He's very, very well guarded, very well positioned, and his IQ is incredible. So I think, again, like we were saying, it's very similar to everybody that we've picked up. They're bringing something to the team in the physicality. Yeah. They're bringing something to the team in the hockey IQ, and they're definitely bringing something to the team when it comes to the defensive end of the game that's been causing the Leafs all sorts of grief. Because even with a guy like, with Stolarz playing the way he was, they're still what? I think they're in the top 10 or 15, something like that, for goals scored against. You can't be that and win. It doesn't matter how good you are. You need to have less goals scored against. And only 20 goals less scored against this team would win them the league. So the President's Choice, team winners, like league winners. It's 20 goals made that difference. So you're talking about a guy that's going to bring that to the team, who's guaranteed his plus minus. He might only be like, I think he might be a plus 1 or 2. That doesn't sound like a lot, mm-hmm. but when you're going to be playing against all the best players all the time, you know what? If you're not negative, if you're not in the minus, that's a good thing.
Just the amazing additions that we brought in. Like I said, it was a trend. It's a lot of weight, right? These kids are big kids that can move the puck, bang, crash, and fill those spots that we just needed a little bit of oomph into, right? We've got some great players, but they're going to surround those players, give them more room and more confidence to play their game, because they know that if somebody F's up and steps up and tries to hit them, well, there's a lot of guys that can drop the gloves and really protect those guys. But I think some great things that the Leafs have done, bringing that extra to this team, and it's going to be an exciting year, buddy.
Well, the big takeaway that I have for this is that other teams, the Leafs are going to feel like they're playing on an Olympic-sized rink. I think that all the forwards are going to feel like they have a lot more space because of the physicality of this team, and yes. The other teams are going to feel like they're playing on an outdoor rink, that was made in somebody's backyard. There's not going to be a lot of space for these guys to move between the speed and the physicality. It's going to feel like a very small rink for the NHL this year when they're playing the Leafs.
Agreed. Well, let's touch on other teams really quickly and kind of the biggest moves in the league, and then we'll kind of move on to what we're going to bring to the table this year on Keep Your Head Up Hockey a little bit different. I already talked about Mitch Marner, so we won't talk about it again, but that was the biggest move. K'Andre Miller to Carolina from the Rangers, defenseman, moved to Carolina. They're adding some big pieces. But let's talk on really the biggest move or pickup period, not trade, but pickup. Nicole Ehlers from Winnipeg going to Carolina. So they're adding a bunch of different pieces in Carolina, but I really think that he's going to be the biggest talk that we're going to talk about here is Ehlers going from Winnipeg to Carolina. What are your thoughts on that move?
Well, that is hurting Winnipeg huge. I believe that guy was probably the centerpiece of that team, and you saw that when Scheifele got hurt. They didn't lose a lot when Scheifele got hurt, because this guy took center stage. I think that might push Carolina into deeper waters in the playoffs for sure. The only thing is that I will say this: Carolina. I find their goaltending is streaky, and we saw the same thing in Freddie. Even though Freddie's a great goalie, again it's streaky, and that's part of the problem I think with Carolina. As much as they've got two fantastic goalies, but they're streaky, and they seem to be wrong place, wrong time as far as when they're not playing well. So we'll see. They've got a great team. They've got a great fan base, and I think they're gonna welcome this guy, and he's gonna thrive.
I think he is too.
The only thing I see though is that Carolina is not anywhere near as physical as and big and strong like Winnipeg. Winnipeg's one of the heaviest teams in the league. They're a big team, and
second would be the Leafs, I think.
Yeah, and these guys, that's the problem, because I mean the physicality, he doesn't have that protection he had before, and we'll see if he thrives. He's a great player, there's no question. We'll see if he thrives. They have the offense. They're a high flying offense. They score, like they're one of the top teams for scoring. They do a really good job shutting down other teams with their speed. They're a very fast team. The only thing is the physicality. They're not a great big team like they were before.
No.
And I think you're going to see some changes. They're going to have to pick up a couple of some bigger dudes in the next year or so for them to get over the top. I think that's just my opinion.
And Ehlers too, 6-year deal for $51 million. So he got paid. And congratulations to Ehlers to go to a team that, he's leaving Winnipeg, but he's going to Carolina. And I think it's good for his career and all the best. But definitely Winnipeg is hurting with that move. Last guy that we'll talk about before we just move on to what we're going to be bringing to keep your head up hockey different this year. But Brock Boeser signed a big deal, 7-year deal for $50.75 million, staying in Vancouver. And you know what? That's one of my favorite players in the league. He's a hardworking guy that really brings his A game to every single shift on the ice. And a lot of guys, give a half-assed effort, right? And just there for the money. This guy's there for the passion of the game. He's there for the franchise, and really a great re-signing for Vancouver. What do you think about Brock staying in Vancouver?
Well, I think it's a great signing for the team, actually. I thought he could have got more money elsewhere.
True.
There was talk about him going to the Leafs as well, especially when Marner was leaving. I thought they were actually going to make I know they did make a play for him, but I don't think it was.
They did.
Because I think the money was similar. And I mean, why would you uproot your family and move if you're going to get the same money in a team where, the fan base loves him? He's their guy right now, he really is. And I find he's an underrated player because he's so nonchalant, so quiet, so whatever. He's not a flashy guy as far as his life outside of the rink. I know he gets into the community lots. I see lots of stuff on him, YouTube, where he's out with the kids and playing in the community and doing that kind of stuff. But, going to the hospital and seeing the sick kids and whatever. But I still think he's a very quiet, doesn't talk, keeps to himself kind of guy. So I think he goes, what he does, goes unseen, and it kind of carries on to the rink. People just don't talk about him because you don't see him, and he's in Vancouver, he's way out west, and let's face it, the center of the universe is in Toronto, and it spreads out from there, and he's about as far away as you can get. And when you have a team like, and the next closest team is Connor McDavid, you're just not going to get talked about a lot, especially with the Oilers doing as well as they have. And Calgary is a very fun team to watch as well. And Vancouver's just not cut it, the way that they should have in the last couple of years. They had an opportunity to make, I think, big changes in there. They could have traded away a couple of their young defensemen earlier that were, on the cusp of being good. And they could have got something for them that would have pushed them over the top because their core was solid. But now Joshua's gone as well. And these guys, I don't know that I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs for a few years.
Yeah, it's a kind of a rebuild like Montreal's in right now, right? But they've signed back, one of their best, and I'm happy about that for them. But yeah, it's going to be a great year for the Leafs, and really excited for this show as well. Let's move on and talk about the big old challenge, J-Dog. So long story short, when I started this show, I hurt my back really darn bad. I dropped the table on my back when I'm moving into my new house, and that's basically when we started this show. Boy, oh boy, was my back effed up, and I finally got it fixed. I gained 60 pounds in 2 years because I wasn't active. And Jay, I think you gained some weight that you didn't want to gain either. So, what did I do? I quit drinking beer. And that's a big change for me because I was a huge beer drinker. I drank every day and I drank a lot of beer. Since then, I quit drinking January, right? Since then, I've lost 30 pounds and literally just fallen off me. So from 313 to 283 now, and 313 is the biggest I've ever been in my whole entire life. So I said to myself, I want better for myself. I want better for my family. So my back's fixed. I'm working every single day. 5 a.m. I get up and I go for a walk until I can't walk anymore. And then I kind of struggle to get home after. I've been doing that consistently for over a month now. And boy, oh boy, do I ever feel great. Jay, I see, he's like, oh, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, all right, bud, let's get this going a little bit. I'm like, I challenge you, 40 pounds, $500, 500 smackaroos, and we use it for us finally getting together. So look at this, that J-Dog. He's a military guy. I'm not a military guy. And we got 40-pound challenge. Who can do it quicker? And I tell you, it's going to be flying off of me because I tell you, the walk that I went on this morning, I just gave her, buddy. So it's going to be pretty entertaining. We're going to let you guys know on every single show our weight and see who can get to 40 pounds lighter the quickest, and the winner using that for the trip when we finally get together. And I'm going down to Dominican in February for 2 weeks, and one of those weeks is with that guy. Right? So, hey, J-Dog, what are your thoughts on the challenge, brother?
Well, I'm at, what was I yesterday? We weighed at 270.
275, I think it was.
Yeah, 276. Yeah, 276. Yeah. So, and I was almost buck-ass naked. Had my phone on my hand, so I don't know, probably 275. We'll call it 275. I'm unfortunately for me, I gain muscle before I lose weight, and I've already I'm not joking. Like you can, I'm starting to already, I'm putting on weight with I'm going to the gym and I'm putting on weight before I lose weight. But now it's about getting lean. I don't think I need any more muscle. I'm carrying enough. I actually went to a doctor who helped. He's a sports doctor here who helps.
You're cheating. Okay, fine. just kidding.
I went to see. You should see the readings, dude. I was 43% fat. And, yeah, and 43 used to be my favorite number. It was my hockey number. Now I fucking hate it. So it opened my eyes a little bit. And however, he said, it's crazy. He goes, there's different types of muscle and different types of fat. This thing did a reading on just about everything. And he said the visceral fat that I have is incredible in comparison to whatever the other type of fat was. He said, I should be able to lose weight fast as long as I do more like the cardio stuff. And if I'm doing weights that are not heavy, do lots of reps and stuff like that. And he goes, and I'll give you a little hint too, a little thing to do. He said, whatever you do, do not do your workout before you walk or run. The other way around. Do not walk or run before you do your workout. Something to do with your catabolic state or whatever. I can't remember what he said, but it actually, if you do your workout, you're running or you're walking before you do your workout, then it ends up burning muscle instead of fat. So that's why runners are all skinny and they don't have any muscle. So he goes, just do your workout first. That'll help. And then you'll get into a fat burning mode. And then you go for a walk afterwards or a run or whatever you're going to do. I don't run anymore. I get bad pegs. And, if you had, I'm going to change this line of talk. If the two of us just lopped off these pumpkins right here, we'd lose 40 pounds right now. I'm just looking at the size of our heads.
70 pounds, man. The melons on both of us, I tell you, buddy. That's when my back hurts. My head's just so freaking big.
My spine's starting to curve because of the weight of my head.
But it's great to do this together. I think that we'll be more inspired on a daily basis to wake up and just get at it. And definitely, I'm inspired after we've made that challenge. And you know what? Like, it's not the money; it's the journey together. But the money's going to definitely keep us going. But more so, I don't care about the money. I just want to beat you.
Well, well, I'm pretty competitive, so that's going to be definitely a challenge. And I will say this: where I go to the gym, it is full of young, beautiful Dominican women who seem to think that their butt is the only thing they need to work on. So,
oh boy,
it's a driving force to go to the gym every day. I told my wife already. I said, "Holy crap! The amount of butt work that's going on in this place is ridiculous." And it's so funny to see. But I will say this: the Dominican Republic is a very fit place. And
it is.
Yeah, there's gyms everywhere, and Dominican people take their fitness seriously, which is crazy because they drink so friggin' much, So like it's they do balance.
It's almost like Canada.
Yeah, but the gyms, there's a gym like everywhere here. There's Gold's just out the back gate where I live. There's a Gold's gym, and then the gym that I go to. Go down the road another 2 kilometers. There's another great big gym. It's the biggest one around here. There's 3 out the back gate. There's a tiny small one that's more powerlifting, but there's gyms everywhere here. And I'll tell you, even in Coquetel, the next thing over, there's an outdoor gym. Like it's crazy. So the physicality here is and I'm a pretty hefty dude. I'd like to start looking more like the people that live down here and blend in a little better. As far as I'm working on the tan, but
you really are, boy.
I need to work on the body. So, plus, I'll be honest with you, I turned 56 in a couple of days. The 8th is my birthday. And I believe that I need to be in shape by the time I'm 60. And when I'm giving myself 4 years to be in the shape of my life. And I know that sounds like a long journey, but a friend of mine that used to work for me, his name's Kyle Potts. Shout out to him. I think I'm a guy that kickstarted him a little bit in the military, and this guy lost 160 pounds. He's gone from like, I don't know, he's around 400 and something to like he's 190 now. He's lost more than 160, I think, in total. But
he lost a person, literally.
He lost a person, and then he inspired his wife to do the same. She was around 200 pounds. She's now like 130 or something. And it's crazy. I think there was we had a little issue in the military about his shape, and he needed to lose weight. I think I kickstarted him, and then now he's kickstarting me. He's an influencer now. I got him on TikTok. I follow him, whatever, and he's inspired me to get back into shape. And I think that this is same thing with his wife. Annie's an awesome kid, really nice, and I think they both are in the right direction, and I'm actually now following him on what to eat, on things he posts all sorts of things, and he's actually got a pretty cool website. If you guys want to listen to this guy, he's a little bit nuts in the way he talks. He's very like, no, this is the way it is, very militant like, but it's called Iron Out Your Fat or Iron Out Fat on TikTok, and you should follow him if anybody wants any good tips. He knows his shit, and he's got into the psychology part of it too. So he's very in tune with what's going on, and obviously it's working. Him and his brother lost a ton of weight too, and they both look like bodybuilders now. They're in great shape, 190, jacked, but not like they look like physical specimens. They're not just big and bulky. They're actually muscular, but they're long and lean, looking good, looking very good.
Well, it's not just the what you do at the gym. It's what you do at home, right? It's you are what you eat, and definitely the whole family's on board. We're switching our diets and what we're putting into our body. I'm going to be cheese, meat, and some select vegetables. I've definitely been reading up on this, and I think that will contribute to a big weight loss. And then obviously, not drinking 24 beer a day. That's a lot of calories that I haven't been putting in my body, and that definitely helps out a lot, but also helps out with so much more, a more sound mind, more sound body, and then obviously it's just going to fly off me like it has been. So the challenge is on between J Dog and Jamie. Who's going to lose 40 pounds the quickest? And it may take us a year. It may take us 6 months. You never know. But we're going to definitely keep you guys.
I'm going to say it's going to take me 3 months.
Whoa, boy, oh boy. Right, the challenge is on. All right. I love it. I love to hear it. Well, some big things coming to this show. And I got to say, one of the biggest things of the show is that my son is going to be part of this show this year. Connor started his hockey journey last year, 7 years old. And I tell you, the first practice, he got on the ice and barely could skate. He looked at me and said, Dad, why are you doing this to me? And I said, because this game is such a passion of mine, and I want it to be a passion of yours, to not only teach you lifelong lessons, but also to get you in shape, to get your mind right, but also just I want you to be passionate about the game that I love the most. And after that, he started loving the game. I tell you, this kid has developed so much over the year, and this right here, this photo, this was in January, so we started September. January after a playoff game, he had the game of his life. He didn't score a goal, but he had the most takeaways of anybody. I watched the game, and I tell you, that's the hard hat player, the hardest working player on the team, and that was the first time that he won that award for the game. And that was a continuous thing that his coach did every year or every game, is to give the hard hat to the hardest working player. Connor not only won that one time, he won it 3 times during the year, but that was his first time. He also won the most improved player of the year at the end of the year, and Dad's been working on his shot and his stick handling with him. He started off as a right-handed player, then I actually found out that he actually is left like his old man. So that might have been his first playing right-handed. Left-handed, but Dad's super proud of this kid. This kid wants to come on the show and talk hockey with us as well and share his journey along the way. So I don't think it'll be on every show, but maybe every other show we'll have a special on Connor and talk about his development and also his team development. I'm in talks with the Petitcodiac Flyers, which is the franchise which he plays for, the hockey squad. Literally right down the street from me is the rink. It's pretty amazing. But I want to actually showcase the team as well, and I'm trying to get approval for that. But obviously, you've got to go through the channels to get that done. So hopefully, we'll have a special on his team as well. But that's big things coming to the show. What do you think about that, J Dog? Having Connor, who turns 8 here in a couple weeks.
That's fine. He'll fit in great with the mentality. We got a couple other 8-year-olds on here anyway, so yeah. I think it's fun. I think that's kind of our direction this year anyway, is getting back to the grassroots of hockey.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some changes this year, and I think we're, like I said, well, we already last year brought in Nate Gravel. And
what him here in a minute.
Elmira Sugar Kings.
Oh, we might as well do it now.
Yeah, and I think that Nate's going to be a mainstay on the show as well. Like we were talking, I had some discussions with him. He's got some ideas that he wants to bring to the show as well, which I think is a good idea, because let's face it, we're not, as I said to my dad all the time, I'm not 13 anymore. So bringing a little bit of youth to the show is actually, I think, a good thing. And again, having your son and then having Nate on gives us, 2 different levels of hockey at the junior level and at the kids level. And I think that, you can see the direction of the show we're trying to change. It's not just going to be about the Leafs because, let's face it, there's hundreds of Leaf podcasts. I think this will make us a little different than everybody else. And not only that, it's more interesting to, like everybody can see what the Leafs are doing. I do, and I do think that we bring some good stuff about the Leafs. We have some different perspectives. We're in different places and whatever. But I believe that, I think we're going to have some other people on the show this year, like professionals on the show. And I think that big part of what we should be doing, and we talked about, is have them talk about their junior career and their life and how they got to the NHL. So I think it's a little bit more interesting as opposed to just talking about what's going on in the league and with the Leafs. So I think we're going to be bringing some good things.
Agreed. And, change is a good thing. And, we did it for 2 years, kind of learned some lessons along the way. But I think the biggest lesson I learned is that Jay and I have a charisma that I don't think many people that do this have. And we've got to really set the bar high for this show. I think we can do some great things together. But remember, I'm going to Dominican in February, and we're going to have a show together there, maybe on the beach. We'll see. It's going to be an exciting year for the Leafs, but it's going to be an exciting year for Keep Your Head Up Hockey. And we've got some great guests that we've got lined up coming on the show. We're not going to say nothing, keep that a little bit of a hush hush. But I'm going to say, though, J Dog's been doing a great job getting some amazing names to say, yeah, I like what you're doing. I want to come on the show too. So once we get those guys on the show and we do a great job, oh boy, I can just imagine who will be able to get on the show after that. So get excited. It's going to be one hell of a year. I just wanted to say, for the fans that have been for the last 2 years, you mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for your continued passion and belief in the show. It means the world to us. I did also want to mention one other thing. We're going to be doing some charity work, and one of the biggest charity work things that I want to do is do a big blood drive. And I almost bled to death when I was 17 in an ATV accident, and it was people's blood that I didn't know that saved my life. At the end of the season this year, during the playoffs, I want to do a big blood drive and try and raise as much blood as possible, and we'll give a merch package away. Another big announcement is that we're going to be having a website coming here soon. So a Keep Your Head Up Hockey website where all of our shows will be linked to and uploaded on. On top of that, we're going to have a merch store. And I do want to do almost charity work with that as well, where if you buy one of our shirts, we're going to be making a donation to a charity. I think that Canada Blood Services is a perfect one to do for the first year, and then we'll kind of mix it up moving forward. But we're going to do some great things, and a big thank you to the people that watch this show on a regular basis. Please give us a like, share this show, tell some family and friends about our show. Word of mouth is how these things grow. It's going to be a heck of a year. Jay, any last minute thoughts from you, brother?
When you come down, bring your $500.
Will that cover the bar time for the first night? I'm not too sure.
Sorry, you cut out. What did you say?
Yeah. Will that cover the bar time for the first night? I'm not too sure.
I would say yes. a little cheaper here than it is in Canada.
All right, but it's going to be a heck of a show, a heck of a journey. Jay, 40-pound challenge, a heck of a journey for Connor Hockey Club and Nate coming on the show, and some big names. You're watching Keep Your Head Up Hockey. We'll see you next Saturday. Thanks so much for tuning in. God bless and love you all. Take care.
Ciao.